welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Today is going to be my very first healthy book review video. I haven't done one on my channel and it's been highly requested, so I thought I would share with you guys one of my current favorites right now, and it is the Joyous Health by Joy McCarthy, and it is the Eat and Live Well Without Dieting. This book is great for anyone starting a healthier lifestyle and doesn't really know where to start. This book gives you great ideas and recipes, simple ingredients. A lot of the recipes you can memorize yourself. It kind of just gives you a really good step-by-step guide into the world of healthy foods. So I would highly recommend this to anyone starting out who's new into, eating organic foods and more plant-based kind of foods in their diet. Now I'm just going to open the book, and one of the first areas, it just kind of explains a little bit about the book, and I'm just going to read this little excerpt here. It says, "What is joyous health? Joyous health is more than just the absence of disease or the avoidance of the occasional cold or flu. It is an optimal state of wellness, not just physically, but mentally and socially, characterized by a positive mindset, feeling and looking fabulous, good digestion and elimination, restorative sleep, healthy relationships, having energy for exercise and sex, and feeling joyous. While it may not be realistic to expect joyous health 365 days a year, you should expect to feel well more days than not. You deserve to have joyous health, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to achieve it." And I just think that's just a really great paragraph there on kind of what the book's about. The first half is all about nutritional tips, charts, and diagrams to get you on the right path, and the other half is the actual cookbook part. So while you're reading the first half, you can also dive right into the recipes that are in the back. And she wants you to read kind of the first half in 6 weeks, so each week you can kind of add a new healthy habit. So one of the ones she talks about is, in the first week you can add something as simple as lemon and warm water first thing in the morning and make it a healthy habit that you don't even think about. You just wake up, you drink the lemon water to start your day before you do anything else. So that's a really great little healthy habit to incorporate into your routine. So she has a lot of them in here, and it's just a really great, like I said, step-by-step guide to kind of, it's a no-brainer. It's all set out for you, so you don't have to think too much. You can just follow along and incorporate the tips into your routine. Another section I really like in this book is Joy has a section all about food elimination. Now, food elimination is really important because if you're having issues such as bloating, gas, you're feeling lethargic after you eat certain foods, sometimes food sensitivities don't show up for like 3 days after you eat it. So being aware of what you eat on a regular basis is really crucial to getting to the, the core issue of your digestive problems. So she talks about certain foods that have high sensitivities that you may want to kind of test out and eliminate from your diet for a few weeks and see how you feel. Okay, so there's also a section all about beauty and clean cosmetics and skincare. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Dirty Dozen for organic foods or for conventional foods, but there also is a Dirty Dozen for cosmetics. Now, there's this amazing site out there, and it's called the Environmental Working Group Skin Deep Cosmetic Database. And what this site does is you pretty much enter whatever product you are looking to find information about, whether it's a makeup item or a skincare item, and you enter the product name in there, and it will tell you, I believe it's a scale of 1 to 10 what the toxicity rating is for that product. It's a really great tool and resource to have on hand, so when you're buying new products, you can find out whether they are the best choices for your skin type. And yeah, it just makes you as a consumer have a little bit more knowledge about the products that you're using. So she talks about the Dirty Dozen ingredients to avoid in your cosmetics, and she has a whole, it's really windy outside, it's crazy, sorry. The tree in front of me is like gonna blow over. Anyways, she has a really great chart here that shows the Dirty Dozen ingredients to avoid in your cosmetics. So you can even easily, scan that, print it out, put it in your purse. So when you're at, your drugstore looking for cosmetics, you can at least be aware of those certain ingredients in the ingredient list. So turn the product around and read the labels. It's not just your food you need to be worried about. It's also the stuff you put on your skin, because remember, whatever you put on your skin does get absorbed and into your bloodstream. So just be aware of that when you're, buying products. Now, I'm sure all of you guys have heard of superfoods and their amazing powers. And Joy has a whole section of her 12 favorite superfoods. Some of them are chia seeds, coconut oil, ginger, hemp seeds, kale, spirulina, which I've recently tried out. It was in my last, my March favorites video. And she just talks about each one really in depth so you can kind of find out what the benefits are to them. You know, everyone's different. So for me, I don't eat a lot of animal-based protein products. So I will add a lot of like hemp seeds and chia seeds and just superfoods that are high in protein. Even spirulina is a great vegan protein source. So those are some superfoods I look for. But another section I really like in the Joyous Health book is the Give Your Kitchen a Makeover. And she kind of goes through a list of certain unhealthy products that you, food products that you probably have in your kitchen, such as cereal bars, ketchup, salad dressings, and she gives you healthier options that you can switch them out for. So just because you're trying to eat cleaner doesn't mean you can't have ketchup. It just means that you want to have, well, less of it obviously, but you want to have a better form of ketchup. You want to have something that's organic, that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it, and that's just going to have, you know, more natural ingredients that you can pronounce, and just make better substitutions for you and your family. Okay, so one of my favorite areas in the first half of the Joyous Health book is the Joyous Health 10-day meal plan. I love this. I think it's such a great idea that when you have a cookbook that you give a meal plan as well, because sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating or confusing if someone's trying to, you know, make all the healthy recipes in the book and they don't really know how they come together. You could make the stuff all on the Sunday or whatever day you have available to do meal preps, which I still want to do a video on how I do my meal preps, but if you're interested in that, just leave a comment down below. But yeah, it gives you a really good idea on what maybe your first week or a couple weeks could look like when starting out into a new, healthier kind of lifestyle. Now, one thing I want to touch base on before I get into the recipe part of this book is that Joy really tries to emphasize on the importance of not only just eating healthier foods and cleaner foods, but also, you know, surrounding yourself with positive people and, you know, working on the mind and body as a whole. So, you know, meditation, yoga, exercising, surrounding yourself with wonderful people, everything kind of comes together and in turn is going to give you what she calls a joyous health or life. So you really want to look at the whole picture and not just the foods you eat. If you are eating organic foods every single day, but you know the people you surround yourself with are really negative and poisoning, then you're not going to get to where you want to be. So just keep that in mind and just be mindful and you know, if you're working on everything, it's really going to get you on the path to phenomenal health. So that's just a little tidbit I want to put in there and just explain that's what the book is really about. And it's not about dieting and counting calories, which I really like. That's my kind of philosophy as well. So that if that's yours, then I think you'll really like this book. So let's get on to the recipe part of the book, which is my favorite. So one of the first recipes I actually tried from this book was her apricot oat granola muffins. And when I first tried it, I was really in a rush and I messed up on the ingredients, and I only realized it after I took them out of the oven that they were pretty dry and crumbly and they weren't really sticking together like a muffin. And I understand they're called a granola muffin, but I've seen them before on her videos and they didn't look like the ones that I had that came out of the oven. So I looked at the recipe again and realized I totally screwed up on the amount of maple syrup. So I guess the maple syrup is what holds them together, so mine did not work out. So instead of throwing them out or just eating them as they were, I decided to crumble them up on a baking sheet, pour the remainder amount of maple syrup on them, and put it back in the oven to crisp up. And what ended up happening is the most amazing granola ever. They were devoured by my family that night, and the mix between the orange zest and the ginger and the cinnamon is phenomenal. I've never had those really flavors together in a granola before, and these granola muffins are one of my favorites in this recipe, and they're really healthy, full of, you know, different nuts and seeds and dried fruit, that they're a great addition to have, you know, for breakfast. Like, you can literally have these muffins for breakfast and you're not going to feel any guilt whatsoever. So highly recommend making these granola oat muffins. So some of you may know that breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. So I've definitely been kind of trying out a lot of the breakfast options in this book. But one of the ones that is my absolute favorite is the coconut flour banana pancakes. These are so light and fluffy. They remind me of a healthier version of a buttermilk, like an old-fashioned buttermilk pancake recipe. I think this would be great for kids. They wouldn't even notice the difference. If anything, they probably will like these better. These are so delicious, topped with banana and maple syrup. and I think you'll really like these, and they are so quick to make, and it makes a huge batch. Like, if you haven't tried cooking with coconut flour, it's really absorbent, so a little goes a long way, and this recipe makes 6 to 8 pancakes, which for me normally always makes 8 large pancakes, and it only requires half a cup of coconut flour. So if you're on a budget, coconut flour is a great flour to have. Buy it in bulk, it's cheaper, and you can make these pancakes, you know, every Sunday or whenever you like. They're really quick to make up, to whip up, and they're just one of my favorites in the book. One of my next favorite recipes in the book has been the overnight strawberry chia pudding recipe, and it's delicious. I've made it now 3 times, and I love it because it's really filling. This recipe calls for 3/4 cup of chia seeds, which seems like a lot, but when you put it in the mixture, it really thickens it up. It's a great dairy-free, vegan substitute for yogurt or a pudding. It's a great kind of breakfast option, or I like to have it as a snack or for dessert. So it's a must try. I highly recommend this recipe. Okay, so there's a recipe in here I want to point out, which is very interesting, and it is the almond power muffins. And why this recipe is really intriguing to me is that it has not 1, not 2, but 12 eggs in it. I think that's crazy. But she says here that it was actually one of her students at the Institute of the Holistic Nutrition School that came up with it, and so she put it in her book. It just sounds like a really interesting recipe. I've never seen a recipe, muffin recipe before with 12 eggs, or let alone any recipe with 12 eggs. So, I mean, it makes sense. The recipe makes 12 muffins, so if you think about it, if you're gonna have a muffin for breakfast, you know, having a whole egg in your muffin is probably more filling and has a higher protein content in it. So this sounds really interesting, and I'll let you guys know if I make it and how it is. But yeah, that's just a recipe that I thought was really interesting in the book and really stands out to me. Now I want to talk about some of the desserts in this book, one of them being the raw carrot cake ball recipe, and these are great for anyone who likes carrot cake and wants a healthier alternative. They are completely raw and they store really well in the freezer or fridge, so you don't have to kind of eat them within like 3 days before they go bad. You can keep them in there for as long as you want, although they don't last very long in my house. But the reason why I love this recipe is that you literally like throw everything in a food processor. It's a 1-pot dish, and you blend everything up, roll it into balls, roll it in coconut, and you are done. The recipe says here you have to shred or grate the carrots, but I've seen Joy in some segments on TV literally put the whole carrot, like a peeled carrot, in the food processor, didn't even grate it, and blend it all up, and she blended it all up, and it worked out fine. So I've been doing that when I'm in a really big rush. Sometimes I'll just like roughly chop it up, but if you don't have time to grate it, you don't need to. You can just kind of shove it in there, blend it all up, and you're good to go. So it's a great on-the-go recipe for, you know, busy moms, just people that don't have a lot of time to, you know, bake or cook in the kitchen. Okay, there is one recipe in this book that I think deserves a photo. Now, although this recipe book does have amazing photos, because I hate when you go buy a recipe book and well, I don't buy these books, but there's recipe books out there with absolutely no photos. Like, I don't understand how that works. Like, if you're gonna make something, I feel like you have to see what it looks like, right? So this recipe was actually brought to my attention by an old colleague of mine, and she said, oh, she had the book and she makes the double chocolate gluten-free cookies all the time. And when she said that, I was thinking, oh, like, I don't even remember seeing that in the book. And I went to the dessert section right away and I saw it, and it was one of the ones without a picture, and I really feel like it deserves a picture. Like, these are the most amazing chocolate cookies ever. Like, seriously, they are a mix between like a brownie and a chocolate cake, and they're healthy for you. Like, I mean, obviously a cookie is a cookie, but they are gluten-free, they are made with really wholesome ingredients, and they taste absolutely phenomenal. Like, everybody who ate them was like, these are the best freaking double chocolate cookies. And sometimes I find double chocolate very decadent and too rich for me, and these are perfect. They're made with coconut flour, so they're really light and fluffy, and like I said earlier, you only need a little bit of coconut flour, so these only call for half a cup of coconut flour, and they make 20 to 24 cookies. Like, crazy. Anyways, love them. One of my favorite recipes in the book, and yeah, it's a dessert, it's chocolate, and it's gluten-free and healthy for you, so definitely try that one out. Now at the back of this cookbook, there is a Joyous Health, Food, and Wellness Journal. So this is something that you can easily scan and print out as many copies as you like. It's a free resource in the book, and it's great because not only can you track the foods that you're eating, but there's a section that you can track how you feel after you eat the food. So it's really important. So like what I said earlier with the food elimination, sometimes food sensitivities don't show up for 3 days after you eat the food. So it's like nearly impossible to find out what it was that bothered you. But if you're writing it down in a food journal, you can sometimes see a pattern, you know, oh, every time I eat pasta for dinner, like say you do pasta Tuesdays or something, you know, by Thursday you are feeling awful or just lethargic, and you notice it's a pattern. Try omitting that pasta on Tuesdays for maybe brown rice pasta, or just taking it out completely and seeing how you feel on Thursdays. So it's a great resource in the book. I love that she has that in here, and I've heard her talk a lot about, in one of the seminars I went to see her in, talk about the importance of food journals, and so I love that she has that resource in the book. So that was my book review on the Joyous Health book, Eat and Live Well Without Dieting. If you guys are interested in picking up a copy, I will have an Amazon link down below. I am not getting paid by Joy to talk about her book, but the link down below is an affiliate link with Amazon, so I do get a little commission off of it, but it just helps out and supports my channel. So if you guys are interested in buying the book, it is always cheaper on Amazon, and the link helps me out, so be sure to use that link down below. And if you guys purchase it, let me know in the comments down below, and send me photos if you try any of the recipes on Twitter and Facebook. I'd love to see them and like them and share them on my wall. And if you guys want to see more healthy book reviews, let me know, and be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in my next video, and have a fabulous day. Bye!